So what happened in the world of crypto this week? Well, here to talk with me about that is Peter Gantner from TruBadger. Peter, welcome back.
Thank you for having us back again, Bob. Great to be here. A lot of exciting stuff going on in the world of crypto, right?
There's never a dull moment. So I think one good place to begin is with a new development at your shop.
Yeah, so you see the background behind me with SafuFide. It's our new project. It'll be launching tomorrow, and it is utilizing multi-sig wallets. I believe it was a couple shows ago I had mentioned about the person who got hacked for $800,000. They were able to go into their wallet and empty their wallet out. Multi-sig wallets is a huge way to do that. So there's a couple things with multi-sig. One is people using it themselves to protect their asset. The second side of it is projects using it to protect assets for token holders, right? So like with us with TruBadger, all of our wallets are becoming multi-sig wallets, which means I, as the manager running the business, can't just transfer $1 million out to my own personal wallet. I need to have other people that sign off on it. So I start the transaction, other people do it. It's the same way with personal people protecting their own assets. So you would set up multiple MetaMask or Trust wallets on multiple devices, and then you would initiate a transaction in your one wallet, and then you would have to go in and verify that from several other wallets. So even if you give up your 12 seed words or they hack your computer, they would be able to start a transaction. They wouldn't be able to complete the transaction, which means then you can just cancel it, and then that transaction would never take place. It's one of the things we're really excited about. We've had, not out of all the thousands and thousands of people we've brought on board, it's maybe a dozen or two that have had these problems with getting their funds hacked, but I don't want it to be anybody. And our core goal of TruBadger is to make improvements in the industry and to fix it, to find these big problems where people are getting scammed or taken advantage of, and come up with products that solve those problems. And of course, all of our projects have revenue sources to them, meaning we're solving a problem that people are willing to pay, companies, projects, whoever are willing to pay us. So they're all revenue generating projects that we're working on. We believe in the long term of the crypto space and the blockchain space. And so that is our focus, is not building these, coins that pump up overnight and then come back down that just happen to have, I'm not on either side of the fence on Doge. I just know Doge has no utility at this point, right? They've talked about possibly doing it. They said they're not going to do it. And to me, a token just to be a token doesn't make a lot of sense. Now with Bitcoin, it's a store of value. That is its utility. It was the first one to prove it out, and it's become a store of value. And really what's given that a lot is the new ETFs that came up, right? People are asking me, why is Bitcoin going up? Well, you can go now and invest in an ETF on the regular markets, and you can put money into it. A lot of institutional money is now moving in that direction. They've passed a few more. Now, I guess there's never any guarantees in life, but with an ETF now up and running, it's, to me at least, it signals that crypto is here to stay for the long haul, right? Knowing the system knows that if an ETF is out there, then a lot of institutional money is going to come in. That's your pensions, right? Government pensions, private pensions, those type of monies that are going into those type of investments. And so, you're not going to allow something like that if you feel that you're going to be canceling it out at some point, anytime in the future. So
right.
I think it's a great sign.
Yeah. So let me go back to SafuFide for a second. Just walk me through the process of how it actually works and how it gets connected to your wallet and the process for protecting your.
So our site is SafuFide.io is our website that you would go visit, and you would simply go in and say, I want to set up a safe. A matter of fact, I could probably share the screen here. Let me see here. So this is the site where you're going to connect to the app side of things on it. And it's simply what you'd come here to do. You'd have a MetaMask wallet set up. That's what we built it for right now. Eventually we'll be incorporating other wallets into it, Trust Wallet and some of the other ones, the Binance wallets those right now. It's for MetaMask. So you'd have your MetaMask on your desktop, as you can see on mine, or on your phone. You would visit our SafuFide .io website. I'm actually in the app part of it. If we back this up, let me go to the main website. So you're going to come here right in this place. Part of our service coming soon is for us to do these with DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations. But you would just come here and say, I want to create a safe. Click on create a safe. It's going to take you to the page we were just on. You're going to connect your wallet. Once you connect a wallet to it, then it's going to walk you through the process of having a safe. Now, what you would end up doing is, instead of having one MetaMask, so I have a MetaMask on my computer and I put a MetaMask on my phone, 2 separate seed words, 2 separate accesses. So once I set up my safe, I can transfer my assets. Let's say I have a TruBadger in there. I can move them into the safe. They're now protected with the 2 devices. And the only way to get access to those and move those out of the safe is if I okay that transaction on the computer, or start the transaction on the computer and then verify it on my cell phone. And so if somebody hacks your computer, they get in, they can see the funds there, right, the safe there, but they can start a transaction. They will not be able to complete that and make it happen all the way through. This is probably the safest way outside of cold storage. This is the best way to store your crypto online and have it protected from being hacked.
Right. And I take it that this is the first of its kind.
Actually, there's another one on the Ethereum chain that has a safe just like, very similar to ours. We're making improvements to it and doing it. We're the only one on the Binance Smart Chain at this point that can protect any of the BSC tokens, and we'll be expanding to other chains as well.
Right. And obviously the likelihood, if someone uses this, of their losing money becomes almost nil.
Almost nil, yes. Yeah, you would have to, a lot of people get tricked into giving up their seed words. Somebody will send them a link. We're actually doing a demo of it. It's, somebody says, hey, you need to sync your wallet. It comes up, it looks just like MetaMask. And then you type in your code, and really at that moment, the programmer on the other side is watching what you're typing in, right? And they're able to copy your seed words and then go ahead and utilize that to get into your wallet. With SafuFide, if you give up your seed words, and people aren't giving them up, it's not like, oh, here's my seed words. It's they trick them into giving them to them. Even if you get tricked into giving out your seed words, they still cannot access the funds in your wallet. They'll have control of your wallet for temporarily, but however, they would not be able to transfer the funds out, which is extremely important.
Right.
You'd be able to reject the transaction and then walk, and then still be safe. And then you would still have to go get a new main wallet. You'd still have to go through, kind of like you lose your wallet, you got to get a new driver's license, right? Because you don't want anybody to have access to one of your wallets, but your funds, you wouldn't lose your funds in the process.
Right. So what's the challenge in terms of getting people to learn about this service being available?
I think the hardest thing is that, we always like to have things easier. It's, 2-factor authentication, some of the stuff you have to go through in the crypto space. It's like, some of us don't even like using a PIN number when we put our debit card in the machine, right? It's like, why do I need this dumb PIN number, right? So people don't steal it. In the crypto space, there's even more barriers. So I think the biggest thing is getting people to say, okay, I'm going to now make it twice as much as for me to, and again, it's not that hard, logging into a wallet, doing a transaction, and then going and verifying that transaction. There's also some issues on the trading platforms, in the decentralized trading platforms, getting transactions through, and that's some of the stuff that we're working on. There could also be tax situations. Right now, we're whitelisting wallets that have TruBadger in them and Insight, so there will not be that transfer tax that's on them when it goes from your wallet to the safe, and from the safe back to the wallet. Those are some of the things that we're working on to automate, to where people can register other tokens outside of our ecosystem to be able to use them. But BNB and all the base tokens that do not have the tokenomics on them, those can easily be done within the system right now.
All right. So, anything else new inside TruBadger worth talking about?
Oh my goodness, so much. We launched our Insights coin, which is our trading token, which is the project is going to launch in about 2 weeks. And that is software that will actually utilize smart contracts for people to be able to either manually or auto trade cryptocurrency. So you can simply go in and set up the system. You can say, I want to manually trade it. So it'll buy and, you can go in and buy and sell. Or if you want to, you can send your tokens to a contract, not to me, not to a person, to a trustless contract, right? That you don't have to, you can trust it because there's nobody involved with it. And then it will actually execute automatically the transactions. I don't know about everybody else, but it seems like my tokens always go up when I'm sleeping. I don't know how it happens. It's like I could be awake for 40 hours in a row and the token just sits there. And about the minute I go to sleep, it spikes and goes up, 84%. But by the time I wake up, it goes back down. And so, Insights will allow for the trade to execute while I'm sleeping or awake, and it doesn't matter. So that's another project in process that we've got out there. A lot of great stuff. We've got a lot of news and a lot of promotion that's going to be coming out on what we're building. A lot of people are beginning to understand the concept and the idea that we're putting together of an ecosystem to allow for people to be able to have access to find tokens that at least reach a minimum bar of being acceptable, meaning they have utility, they have a team that's behind them that knows what they're doing. I talk to a lot of people in the crypto space, and we're really beginning to now hit the top echelon of the crypto space. And the concepts for most of them where there's two important things for a crypto. One is utility, and the second one was to have a good community behind it, right? So utility and community. What I've been talking to about is there's actually three. Of course, utility, good technology. Yes, of course, the community that behind it, but also the team that's going to run it. You could take the best idea in the world, and if you put somebody that's never run a business before, understands nothing about finance, understands nothing about budgeting, and you hand them $1 million. Well, we know what happens there, right? That was the .com days, right? Hand a bunch of young kids millions of dollars and they have parties, right? And they buy fancy cars and they overspend on budgets. And so we know what the results of that is. They can be disastrous. And I think really, if we look at the .com days, the .coms that got money from VCs, and the VCs said, hey, you run the company, but we're going to give you advice. And those ones that took that advice, I think personally, were the ones that did the best, right? Those were the ones that were able to flourish and grow because you had the new ideas of the young people, and then you had the experience of the older people that have run businesses and built them and went through financing and understood that. That's what I believe has to happen in the crypto space. So that third part of it is knowing the team that's doing it and knowing what they've done in the past, or knowing that they have people on that team that have built businesses successfully. It's super important. And I would say right now, probably 60-70% of the new cryptos out there, you don't even know they're anonymous teams that are running it. And they may be the best people in the world at running a project, but you don't know, right? There's always the side of they could be good, they could not be good. They could be the next, Bernie Madoff, right? That's running a crypto project, right? And so you're just basically throwing your money away by giving it to them because they're just going to run off with it. So these are the important things that we're bringing together in the Nexus ecosystem. So solving the problems with the bot manipulation upon the launch of tokens, SafuFide, protecting those assets, and then finding verified projects. You still need to do your own research. I was on today talking to a group of people, and we went to CoinMarketCap. 13,000 different cryptos on CoinMarketCap. Now, if you full-time job, it would be hard to keep up. Even if you had a team of 3 or 4 or 5 people, it would be hard to keep up and actually find the right tokens. So then what do we do as people? We get involved in crypto, and what we start to follow is the news, and we hear Shiba's blowing up, so we go buy some Shiba. Well, normally by the time you hear it in the traditional news, right? It's on Fox News or all that. It's more than likely too late, right? It's already risen up so much. We buy into it. It goes up maybe a little more and then comes back down, and we end up losing money in the process of doing that. You've got to, in order to really benefit and make the huge returns that people are making in the crypto space, you've got to be able to find these projects early that have the good utility, they have the good teams, and they have the potential to be long-term projects. If you can do one of those a month, you would be, over the next few years, the amount of wealth you could build could be tremendous, right? Even starting with a small amount of money. The problem is how do you find those when there's 40 a day, 50 a day without going through them? That's our Nexus ecosystem. We'll make sure that there's a team. Now, that doesn't ensure success, right? We're not saying, hey, what we're doing is going to ensure every project that we come across is going to be successful. It just eliminates the ones that are definitely not going to be successful because they were scams in the first place, right? People that are just trying to get money. It definitely eliminates teams that have, 8 people on them, and you look and go, none of these 8 have ever run a business before, right? They're all, 18-year-old kids who have great intentions, but they don't know how to run a business and don't listen. So if we can go through that process, that's what we're working on and building with TruBadger, is a place where people can come and eliminate the scams and then have some confidence in the project's ability to succeed because it has the base right elements in order to become a successful business.
Yeah. So lots of news to cover today as well. I'm sure that you have some things that are top of mind. I'll throw out a couple. One is that the chair of the FDIC says that a goal that they have is to provide a path for banks to custody crypto. We talked about, I think, US Bank a couple shows ago, but it looks like their FDIC wants to pave the way for more banks to be able to custody crypto.
Yeah. No, it's definitely showing that they know at this point that there's no stopping it. So now you've got to get involved and figure out the best way to get it done. I think part of it is if they leave it up to the way it is. So most of the stuff right now, we bring a lot of people through crypto, right? Because we have our Zoom rooms and we're putting them through it. If they don't give a clear pathway to make it easy for people to do, then they're going to go to where offshore situations or seedy situations where it's going to be more likely for people to lose and get taken advantage of. So that's the path I see that they're deciding to take is, here we go. Let's try to make it easier, but more regulated so we can keep track of it. We know who's buying what and what they're doing and all that stuff in order to move things forward and to try to, again, eliminate the massive amounts of fraud that are taking place right now because of the fact that, that you have to go to alternative sources to get crypto.
Right. So speaking of making things easier, Walmart plans to add 200 Bitcoin ATMs as part of a pilot program.
Yep.
So you walk into your local Walmart and buy a Bitcoin from a ATM machine there.
Yeah. And hopefully they make it more affordable. It is a little expensive, guys. I have used an ATM machine. It's a little bit higher fees. There are some better ways to do that. Cash App is a fantastic way to purchase Bitcoin directly, low fees, that type of stuff. Mastercard is just announced that they are absolutely going to make it easy for their vendors to use your credit card then to be able to buy crypto and move forward from there. Those are usually using your credit card, guys. Of course, you have to cover the fees that are going through that process. So usually bank transfers, ACH, those are the type of things that you want to look at with maybe some of the centralized exchanges. I personally use Coinbase to move mine from my banking account into there. Completely regulated, completely documented type stuff. I'm not doing any of this to, try to skirt anything. We just love the space and love the value that's being created. And then I move that through something like Simple Swap, where I'm able to take that and convert it into whatever type of crypto that I want to do to then go in and buy whatever chain I'm on, whether it's on the BSC chain or Solano or any of the other chains that are out there.
Yeah. So speaking of brand names and getting into the business, Wharton, University of Pennsylvania, plans to accept crypto for tuition payments.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? I mean, just think about, even a year ago, right? Well, I mean, it was such huge news when Elon decided to take it for Teslas, right? And now you've got AMC theaters, you're going to be able to pay for your school with it. Now, I want you to think about this, especially the grandparents and the parents that are out there watching the show. If universities will accept crypto, then can you begin to save for college is, right, to put your grandchildren and children through college, where maybe instead of putting a dollar in and you're going to get some, small return and eventually it builds up to, but could it be where you could put, $1,000 a year into new emerging technologies, new emerging cryptos, and eventually have the 50, the 100, the $200,000 it probably costs to go to Wharton, right, for 4 years, right?
Right.
And so it's a very smart thing, because if I can set up a fund to then build crypto assets over the course of my child's life, right, then essentially the things I'm doing with them could then pay for it, right? Because hopefully everybody understands there's a new heater that was put out. When you use this heater, and I haven't dug into the details in it, it actually helps mine crypto for you. So it's producing it. They've talked about solar panels, being able to put those on your roof and then having that tied into a mining operation or something. So now you have clean mining, and as well, you have your energy you're using for your house, and it's creating revenue. So could things that we do today that we pay for in the future because of blockchain and cryptocurrency actually start to pay us back and be a part of that? Geo mining, or, as far as geo tracking. So there's tokens that have been created that if you're willing to report where you're at, they get to use that to map out an area very accurately, and you get cryptocurrency for helping them map out, the framework. So there's a lot of things. It's almost like when the internet started. Would we have all ever thought that it wasn't the things we're buying or what we're doing, it's what we're doing on the internet and the information that actually became more valuable than the actual transactions that are taking place, right? It's the information from those transactions that are being resold, where a lot of this wealth is being created. That's in the crypto blockchain space. That's where we're going to start to see some interesting things, where maybe something today you're paying $100 a month to do, where somebody's going to come up with a creative way of monetizing that data, that information, and you either get it done for less money or maybe even get paid to do it.
Yeah. So in the past, we've talked about DAOs, and you just mentioned a second ago, Solano. There's been money raised on the order of $1.5 million to make DAO creation as easy as starting a group chat. Any thoughts about that?
It's where it's headed towards, right? So 20 people get together. We want to form a DAO. Great. Boom. We all raise our hands. It's some of the stuff we're working on. SafuFide will make it easy to form DAOs and to be able to protect. That's the multi-sig side of things that we're talking about. So, and what I see happening, and other people that I've listened to and talked to, is the tokenization of the whole world. Every aspect of our lives are going to be tokenized. So just like we're all in social media and that set up, eventually it gets tokenized. Some of that tokenization will be, it's tokenized because it gives you access to be part of the group. Some of it will be tokenization for monetizing of that group. So there's a lot of ways that the blockchain and cryptocurrencies and NFTs and all this stuff will happen. A lot of crazy, some of the NFTs out there that are now selling for $400,000, $6 million, $7 million. I don't know if it's so much about the art anymore that are on these NFTs. I think it's part of being a club. I'm in a club. I'm one of the holders of, CryptoPunks. There's only 10,000 of them, and I happen to hold one. 6 months ago, you could buy a CryptoPunk for $17,000. And I looked at them, oh my goodness, who would pay $17,000 for this little JPEG, right? With this, jagged art. Well, today, the minimum that you can get any of the 10,000 CryptoPunks is over $400,000. What does that mean? if you own a crypto, I think it's almost like owning a Rolex or something along that nature. I'm a very select group. There's only 10,000 of us on this planet that can hold these, these JPEGs, right? These JPEGs on a blockchain. I mean, I don't want to demean NFTs because we're doing some stuff in them and we believe there's a lot of power there. But essentially, it's a JPEG piece of artwork on a chain. However, you tie community behind that. And the fact that it's limited to the number of people that can join and be a part of that community. And all of a sudden you begin to monetize community. You begin to monetize your participation and stuff. So there's all kinds of, there's proof of participation, proof of being there. Think about an NFT in the nature of a baseball game. You being able to, them offering an NFT that proves that you were at that baseball game. That an event took place, a record was broken, and then being able to go, oh, new world record broken in the baseball thing. Everybody at the stadium gets this NFT. You simply scan a device. It tells, yes, you were there at the game, and it transfers that NFT to you. Now that's a way to be able to historically, for generations to prove that you were at the event. And of course, some people that couldn't be at the event that would love to have been there. Then just like buying the tickets, right? The ticket stubs for a World Series or any of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Digital signatures. How do you know if it's really the regular traditional signature is the signature, right? You have people who come and look at it and the experts that prove it. But imagine having a digital signature where that person who you're getting the signature from has an encrypted piece of technology that when they give you their digital signature, it was for sure from that person. There's no way to replicate it or duplicate it. It's on chain. So you have a signature from that person on it, albeit being digital.
Yeah. So you mentioned baseball games. A couple interesting things. I've been watching the World Series. FTX, which just hit a market valuation of 25 billion, is sponsoring, right, the Major League Baseball umpire uniforms and also is all over the MLB World Series. Coinbase is now a sponsor for the NBA, and you mentioned NFTs. Reddit is now creating a platform, building an NFT platform. So all these brand names are now sort of tied with this new world technology.
If you've ever sat on the fence and said, I want to get into it, but I don't know if it's going to be here. I don't know if this is something that's going to last. Every bit of that is proof that it is here to stay. It is going to be gigantic. Think about the wide range of things we've covered just right here. Universities, stadiums, sports, the whole thing, right? We're covering this. You can see the banks, Mastercard, everybody is racing. And these are the biggest, smartest corporations in the world. They've done their homework. They're the ones with the lobbyists. So we've talked shows before that a network is only as strong as the people that are part of that network, right? The participants. Well, guess what? Mastercard now is participating in the crypto networks. All the ETF people are participating in these crypto networks. Wharton Business School is participating in these crypto networks because once you're a crypto holder, you're participating in that. I've got to think that they probably have some powerful friends and people that are in the right places, and that they've got lobbyists and they've got all the stuff that's necessary in order to protect their network. So all of this is signs to me that, and this is not financial advice, but this is going to be bigger than the internet itself, right? This is Internet 3.0. It's the next version of it. And there's going to be a combination between decentralized and centralized, how those two blend together. And the companies that get this right, I believe, will be the largest companies in the world, right? And they could be DAOs. And that's the beauty of it right there. A company, large shareholders, the founders of the company, the early investors. Imagine DAOs, an entity that is owned by the token holders, something that started that you could buy that token for $10, $20, $30, $40, $50 put into it. And over the next 10 years, these DAOs become $1 trillion DAOs. And because you're a token holder, You're an owner in that entity. All the assets, all the benefits, all the profits are owned by those DAO holders. I get so excited when I think about those aspects of it, right? Being able to build the next Amazon, but yet instead of having a small group of people owning a huge portion of it, and then other people get ownership, but they get ownership much later, right? We're talking about at its core. TruBadger right now has 7,000 token holders, right? We're a smaller entity right now. We'll eventually have 70,000 and 500,000, probably before we hit the $1 billion mark in market cap, right? So if we can take it from there to 50 million, it's so many more people that can participate and benefit from the growth of what's going on. I believe that this is what capitalism over the last 10 years has gotten a pretty bad beef, right? Because they watch the people that start these companies become massively wealthy, and there begins that jealousy thing. I believe that this is what capitalism should be, where you start a DAO, put ideas in those DAOs, and then allow for community and the team to build out something spectacular, and everybody gets compensated through the cryptocurrency side of things for their participation in what's going on.
Peter, I think that's as good a place as any to wrap up for this week's edition of This Week in Crypto. And so with that, I want to thank you as always for being on the show and sharing your thoughts and wisdom about all things crypto.
We're excited to be here. Thank you. Thanks for having us.